Hello everyone, and welcome back to this playthrough of Bloodborne. Today we're going to be tackling the final story-related Chalice dungeon, being Great Pthumeru Ihyll Chalice. Great Chalices unlock deeper reaches of the labyrinth. Pthumeru Ihyll was the title of both the Pthumerian monarch and its capital. This reveals that while early Pthumerians were mere humble guardians of the slumbering Great Ones, their descendants felt entitled to name themselves a leader. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it'll have to do. So, today is June 19th, 2021, and all the digital events, E3, Summer Games Fest, Nintendo, all those have kind of wrapped up at this point. And there's several games they announced I thought were cool, and then, of course, some neat new trailers, which is going to be the first and most lengthy topic of discussion today. From Software and Bandai Namco have released the first official gameplay trailer for Elden Ring. Nearly 2 years and a couple days later exactly for since its debut with its CG trailer back in 2019. There's a lot to cover in both the trailer and just all the general interviews and whatnot that accompanied it. First and foremost, the trailer begins with, in first person, a young woman is speaking to the player character and refers to them as the Tarnished, which is the new kind of sort of main character stand-in name, much like Slayer of Demons, Good Hunter, Ashen One, etc. And according to the official description that was added to the website, the Tarnished are those that have lost their grace and or were spurned from getting grace rather from the golden Elden Ring, which has since been shattered into several pieces and given to the 6 children of Queen Marika the Eternal. And with this power, they have become demigods and started a war between themselves, and I'm assuming some sort of lust for power. So, the powers that be, known as the Greater Will, according to the description, have since left left the world and the lands between, as they are upset with this disgusting abuse of the powers that they left in this world. And the Tarnished have been called back to this land with newfound grace. In order to brandish the Elden Ring and become the new Elden Lord. The Elden Ring is the source of the Erd tree, the large giant golden tree that in the description. And it seems like the Elden Ring was something that sort of created balance and create sort of the rules of creation for this world. And its shattering has alter the landscape considerably. Or at least, some part of it in some way. Oh, hey. Where'd you come from? The character I'm just going to refer to as Level Up Lady introduces you to your horse, which I'm happy to see and is definitely going to be making a major component. It gives me great Shadow of the Colossus vibes. No surprise considering Miyazaki was inspired by Fumito Ueda to become a game designer as he is now. But it also makes me think of another Miyazaki as the magical horse, which the Tarnished summons from underneath them mystically, which was really cool, and very, very smart way to handle that. And you don't just leave it in places that it just refuses to go. Because this way you have an excuse for when you enter a dungeon that is not meant to be compatible with. Oh. It can mystically go away due to some divine power, forcing it, not allowing it to come inside. In places it just wouldn't, the game just would not work well with. Ooh, 2 traps. Really smart game and sort of like a thematic design there. I appreciate that. Okay, stick to the sides, try not to die. Oh. Oh great, dogs. It's not shown till the end of the trailer, but this was also in the leaked gameplay, but the Tarnished is able to jump. And the reason I bring this up is there's a certain point in the trailer while they are fighting a sort of a dragon boss that heavily reminds me of Seath the Scaleless from Dark Souls. Oh boy. At first I thought those were the fire-breathing dogs you see with the Keepers of the Old Lords, but thankfully not. They're just the bladed ones from Hemlock Channeling. The dragon's visual design is very reminiscent of Seath, and a little bit thematically too, in that it summons lightning, which Seath, although he did not use lightning himself, was a dragon who betrayed his kind and taught the gods of the Dark Souls universe about lightning, which was the dragon's primary weakness in which they were having a war with. I heard you, Ghost. I ain't afraid of you. And it feels like he's some sort of call out to that. And we see a lot of cool visuals in the landscape. The Erd tree, the giant golden tree, for one. Coin inscription is a very central item. I wonder if it's in the exact center of the map. Which brings me to another point. According to the details, the 6 demigods each rule over a different, say, realm in each. in the lands between. The world, the open world, which we'll be exploring in Elden Ring. Ooh, that did a lot of damage. Thankfully, so can I. And the interviews with Miyazaki state you'll be able to tackle these six areas and bosses in any order you choose, which is really cool and reminiscent of Demon Souls, except it's gonna be in one world rather than multiple teleporting archstones that are completely separate areas. There will be an intended order, but you're free to tackle them in any way you desire. And that is just really cool to hear. I appreciate the freedom of choice. Did I already try these? Okay. Next, there's moments where as I was talking about the visual designs and things in the world, really neat. There's multiple, like, first and most notably is the caravan that I spoke about a little bit from the leak trailer, which was a giant cart being pulled by two giants that have large spears and chains through them that are kind of like horses on a cart, except it significantly more painful, I would have to imagine. And the player character is riding on his horse. He's sort of doing this cool, like, mounted combat against an enemy who is also on a horse, obviously, duh. And the player character is swinging his greatsword from the back, and the trailer then cuts. There's another shot I thought was really neat. It's a very brief glimpse, and another, like, sort of, I assume, giant roaming enemy deal, but it was, let's see what gives most. Yep, still strength.
Farewell, good may.
We only see most of it from the bottom, but it's like a giant four-legged stone golem-like thing with a large bell on the bottom of it, and it looks like on the top is like a church, so it's like some sort of giant church golem congregation possibly lives in there that you have to get on top of and defeat, and that's really neat. That's really neat to just to conceptually. And another point in the trailer, we see the Tarnished fighting what looks like well, okay. I screwed that up. What I meant to say is that they summon a couple other characters, and in the Miyazaki interviews, there's a new, like, sort of summoning system in which you can find and equip spirits, and these can be of, like, similar looking other player character type NPCs, and you can also find some that are based on enemies. Oh, great. Hunter. Okay. Nice shot. Can't wait. Okay, this is just a trap room. Well, you'll be able to find, equip, and somehow improve these spirits. And they'll have different traits. Some will be based more on defense, and others will be on offense. And I'm assuming you're going to require some form of resource in order to use in some of them. Miyazaki also stated that there will be some that just appear useless, but will have other traits. Really, and it's a smart idea because in these games, typically when you need a summon, you'll either find signs left by other players or NPCs that just happen to be around where bosses and stuff will be, so you can bring them with you. But this is a neat way for more freedom. And really, really smart too with the large open world map design. Which, for once, there will actually be an in-game map. But only for the main continent, not the 6 dungeons. Sekiro did have a map, but it was highly stylized and was not used for navigating at all. At the end of the day, it's more for showing areas that you've unlocked more than anything to get you around, it feels like. Oh, jerk. They do a lot of damage in this dungeon. I see you. And, we see one of them using a whip weapon. I'm hopeful that they have some somewhat viable whip weapons in there, just at least for the stylishness. Throughout Dark Souls, there's been a few whip weapons, but they have not been viable at all. The only whip weapon in this general series has been in here Bloodborne. The Threaded Cane. Nothing in here. Troll room. Got it. Just so you walk in there and get destroyed by the axe guillotine. I don't need to go all the way there. I can just like that. And it'd be nice if there actually had one outside of this game that could carry you through it. I mean, especially with how often these are compared to Castlevania and stuff like that. It'd be nice to have another game that took those and let you actually carry you all the way to endgame. Next, there are other parts of the trailer and the interviews include that, man, struggling to think. There will be there will be optional bosses, there will be, of course,
What is it?
mini dungeons, and lots to explore, and the main campaign should take you around 30
Very
hours,
well.
according
Let me
to
stand close.
Miyazaki. Just,
Farewell.
Just in
May you
general, if you're not really doing too much side content. And I believe that. Let's see. As the trailer goes on, there's sort of a sort of werewolf wolf man who howls on the edge of a cliff, and then later you see a boss variant, and they have this and George R. R. Martin may have gotten to write the underlying mythology and everything of Elden Ring, but that's not stopping Miyazaki at all from putting all these very overt Berserk references in. Because the boss version is very clearly wearing the Berserker armor that Guts wears. And then, of course, the Erd tree is very similar to a giant tree in Berserk. I don't remember the name of it. Okay, time to focus. Oh. Okay, I'm walled. Alright. Okay. Calm down and focus. Poor timing. Alright. Ugh. Doing poorly. Okay, careful. Alright. Gotcha. Whew. Does a hell of a lot more damage. Now, given the way that these wolfmen are armored up, and I'm assuming more that they're just a race that exists in the world, more so than a plague of beasts, like here in Bloodborne. Let's go recharge before hitting that optional area. But that boss version is wearing like nearly the exact same armor when Guts' Berserker armor turns on and starts going crazy, and it's he's got big old great sword, of course, and he has red ores and everything going around. It's really cool looking. Like the inspiration is obvious, but
Very well.
okay, that is not worth it. Neither is that very much, but okay, that's just slightly better.
Farewell, may
And another boss that they show off is a character that was shown off in the original CGI trailer. Most people have taken to calling her the Valkyrie. She's a tall woman in a sort of a dull gold armor set, reminiscent of the original dull gold armor set in Demon Souls on PS3. They changed the design a little bit in the PS5 remake. So she's got sort of this pseudo Valkyrie from Norse mythology look. And I believe in one of the interviews they said Norse was an inspiration. Which makes sense given the Erd tree is also kind of an Yggdrasil. And then, of course, you got her design and whatnot. Oh boy, Oil Swamp. Which, oh yeah, surprising absolutely nobody, the official website says there are, like, terrible swamps or something as one of the location examples. Shocker. A swamp in a FromSoft game. Who would have seen that coming? Not that I'm complaining, it's just funny. They know what they're doing when they put that in there. They knew exactly what they're doing. And there's the jerk up there throwing firebombs. Or Molotovs, I should say. Let's see. What There's another part in there that gives me Princess Mononoke vibes. There's like a giant stag, and it has a sort of ethereal spiritual glow about it, like a sort of a teal green sort of thing, and it's floating up in the air, and its face is skull-like, and the tarnish is facing off against it. Oh, no, you don't. Oh. Or maybe you do. Forgot you explode on death. Like jerks. Come on, rat boy. Don't want too many at once. I mean, in here, one bite does a lot of damage. A lot more than you'd think. Come on. There's a lot of really cool imagery just going on in general in that trailer. Like, there's maybe one of them is a demigod, but this one in particular I'm not sure on yet, but He was also in the leak trailer, though you could barely tell because of how blurry it was. But it's the same large, like, humanoid character with a scorpion tail. You see the Tarnish facing off against them, and they wield a magical spell where they turn their sword blue and large and have these runes dancing around it that look really cool. But he's visually similar to the sort of lord at the end of the trailer who has a ton of arms grafted onto him, and then eventually a dragon head as well that you see him briefly petting. And he's commanding the player to kneel because you fancy yourself a lord and your flames of ambition must be extinguished. Ooh. Almost got me. There is a point where the character's using stealth, much like in the leaked trailer, but it's in an entirely different setting. The character is sneaking up on like some sort of maybe they're like monks, but they're wearing these weird like sort of stone face masks that are all bulbous and weird looking. Oh, jeez. Come on. Ooh. That got dicier than expected. There's a point where a character is going up the Tarnished is going up against a group of enemies, and they do like a jump attack, and then they do another special attack where they kind of swing their sword around in like a 360 style arc, and then leap backwards, which ties into the next point in one of the interviews, is that the weapon art system from Dark Souls 3 is returning. However, it's in a sort of a new, like, remix sort of deal, in that they're not expressly tied to weapons anymore. In Dark Souls 3, they had a system called the weapon arts, in which you pressed L2, and every weapon had a special ability tied to it. Like, there was a mace that had War Cry, and when you enabled it, you spent some of your MP, and then your character would do like a short shouting animation, and they briefly received like an attack boost. And Elden Ring's going to have this. However, the weapon arts are going to be interchangeable, and there's going to be roughly 100 or so. Miyazaki did not give an exact number. They're probably still testing some of them and all that. I also believe that it's going to have a significant degree of freedom, but they're not going to be able to, like, say, put let's see. What's the way out here? Alright, it's back up top. In that, you're not going to be able to put a whip-based weapon art on a greatsword, but hey, you never know. We'll see how that kind of thing works out. Maybe it'll just change some of the ways it works if that's the case. Who knows? There's great. Little bit lost. Where's the other wood planks? There they are. Co-op's going to be supported, absolutely. Though you can't use your horse while in co-op and PvP. It's obviously just to keep the players from getting too far away from each other, and who knows what the hell could happen when that does. Let's see. Forward. The level up girl, she has some narration towards the end. Brandish the Elden Ring for
Good
all of
hunt,
us. So
very well. Let me.
And she's asking you to brandish the Elden Ring for all of us.
Farewell. May you.
So potentially much like in a sense like linking the fire in Dark Souls is to help bring stability back to the world, or at least what we know it as. And potentially that restoring the Elden Ring will help do that in some way in this universe. Or, who knows, the context could be entirely different. There was a Russian interview, I think it was IGN Russia, that had one posted where Miyazaki says they've exhausted all they can do with linking the fire and really want to move on to different concepts, so I'm probably pigeonholing it a little bit, or typecasting, whatever you want to call it. So we'll see. I'm very curious to see where this goes. And of course, they'll support multiple endings. There's a dynamic day and night cycle and weather. And I've said this before, but and it's very likely that there's a Moonlight Greatsword in the game. They should have you get like a special extra buff when you are actually at night in the moonlight. I think that would be fantastic. Add different layers of strategy and to going out up in encounters. Like you get a massive attack boost when it's at night and the moon is shining. Let me think. What else is worth noting? I already spoke about the Valkyrie. She looks great still. She's being memed just a little bit, kind of like Lady D from Resident Evil 8. Thankfully, not so severely and significantly. And I mean that more of like in a sort of respectful way, because I think she looks great, and stuff like that kind of got weird after a certain point. Granted, and that's like, of course, that's like, it kind of did right away, but it's not a topic I need to dwell too much on. Oh boy. This is a room. Oh, eesh. Oh well, no big deal. Man, there's just so much in that trailer. There's a moment in which the TARDIS is facing some larger enemy that looks an awful lot like Smo from Dark Souls with the... But he's got this huge sort of bowl on his head that he's summoning a whole bunch of fireballs with and showering the area with. There's a point where it's out, like, sort of in the open, and they're facing a stone giant that looks like it has one arm, at least from the angle we're given ever so briefly. And before the stealth segment, another reason why I say those characters are maybe monks is because before we cut to that, we are shown the outside of like this giant cathedral that has blue, sort of like an aurora borealis at this time of year, etc., surrounding it. And it looks very pretty. And also, I'm sure, much more sinister than it's outside, like pretty much everything in these types of games. Alright, here we go, I think. Yep, this is the way. Alright, let's try to do this a little more carefully. My main problem was those darn witches. If I can deal with them. Then I'll have no problems. I mean, I took care of both gargoyles, so... That fire does so much damage. Let's see. The ethereal stag, I mentioned, he's really cool. Probably a boss. More details. Oh, guillotine. Come and get me. Yeah, there's just so much in that trailer for how relatively short it is. Only 3 minutes. They pack a hell of a lot in there. I think but of course, probably the most important part is that the trailer ends with a release date. January 21st, 2022. Which is like 6-7-ish months away at this point. And that is awesome. Hopefully it makes that date. They say they're confident. Miyazaki says he's pretty confident that they'll hit it just fine. But Japan is, in particular, seemed to be hit hardest by COVID and having to work from home and things like that. I mean, a lot of stuff kind of went dark once that happened, more so than other places. But I'm happy that places like Square Enix have transitioned pretty well. They now have permanent work from home programs for people that work for them, and that is great. Oh god. Okay, something else is hitting me. Not just that guy. This room's so tougher. This whole area is tougher than the boss. Great. And in addition to that release date, which I hope they make, but if they don't, no hard feelings. I mean, come on. I'm always of the opinion games can take as much time as they need, as long as you're not being weird and announcing more and more projects when you haven't updated or finished the previous ones that you announced, like with Platinum, which, speaking of, I'm not even going to put this in the description. It's not really worth mentioning too much, other than it's disappointing that Platinum Games Babylon's Fall will finally got an update. It's been 2 years or so since the last one, 2019, and it's going to be always online live service game, which I'll admit, yes, they kind of teased multiplayer back in 2018 with the art teaser trailer. They had 4 characters standing next to each other, which, sure, I mean, it's like, yeah, but it's not like games have been completely been able to do only one or the other. It's pretty much just going to be Square Enix's Godfall. And that didn't turn out great either, which says so much. About my hopes and stuff for that game. Also, the new gameplay they showed looks significantly slower. It's kind of night and day compared to their 2019 trailer with only a single person playing. The game's textures, quality, and art direction looks much worse. It's like, it feels like almost a completely different game in comparison to what we saw 2 years ago. And that's probably the last I'm gonna say on it. Really disappointing. They did not need to I don't think they quite shifted gears. It just feels like they didn't quite say everything that the game was going to be at first, and did not set expectations well enough. Plus, it's also clear that some of that game definitely did change a little bit. At least on a technical level, since the last showing. But, in addition to the January 21st, 2022 release date, Elden Ring is also added PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X versions, meaning that it will now be on current and last gen. I'm not sure. They haven't spoken any details about the difference between the versions. I'm just assuming frame rate and resolution, which is fine by me. And of course, if you buy the last gen version, you are entitled to the next gen version, which is always nice, but I don't Oh, okay, he had a crossbow. That's what it was. I thought he had a sword. That's who was hitting me. It was both these jerks. Come on. Okay, good. Finally, melee. I can handle that a lot better. Okay. Retreat a little bit. Okay. Alright. Alright. Okay. I've probably exhausted everything on Elden Ring I have at the moment. Oh, right. There's two blink and you'll miss it parts that I think should be really noted. Is that there's a short segment that they linger on for a few seconds of like a woman in sort of a queenly attire. Behind her is a portrait of a king, and right next to her is a knight with sort of a bladed helmet and a large shield with a spike on it. And that's a very striking, nice image visually, very tone setting for wherever that is. But a little bit later, towards the end of the trailer, you see that exact same knight with angelic wings, sort of flying backwards, fighting the Tarnished. So I wonder if that's like a more standard strong enemy type or a unique character. The Queen's Bodyguard. And it looks really cool. And get kind of broken record on it, but there's someone gotta be hiding in the smoke. Probably. Nope. Okay. Okay. Finally, time to move on to the next topic. I'm not gonna spend terribly long, but because I have something special planned for it. But at Square Enix's showcase, there was they announced the Final Fantasy Origin, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. It's a mouthful of a title, but it's Square Enix and Nomura's involved. No hating on Nomura, I'm just stating a plain fact there, because I think Nomura is great. I love a lot of his work. Big Kingdom Hearts fan. World Ends With You. Pretty much everything he's worked on in some way I appreciate. He's not directing this one, but he's like a creative producer, I think the trailer said. And he's had some interviews to go along with the reveal of this game. But Stranger of Paradise is a new action RPG set with that uses Final Fantasy 1 as a motif or like kind of a setting. It is not meant to be a prequel or sequel, or it's not even clear if it's 100% set in the exact same universe. But given the way Final Fantasy 1 is set up with its time travel and time loops, this could just sort of like be a separate timeline. So if you can call Final Fantasy 1 a timeline with the way things are set up and how they work in that. But you have characters reappearing from Final Fantasy 1 in it, notably Garland and Princess Sarah. But it concerns a new character and his crew. The main character is Jack, and he's supposed to be from a separate, from somewhere else, and doesn't quite belong here, but he is obsessed with killing the god Chaos, which is the final boss of Final Fantasy 1. A god of chaos and war. Oh, jeez. Well, that went... I wasn't expecting to die that quickly. Should have played it safe. But it has sort of a... There was rumors a few weeks ago of Square Enix and Team Ninja working on a new Final Fantasy Souls-like. And they turned out to be true. The person that this leak originated from, I trusted, because so far they've been pretty right on the money and they don't put out any bullshit like, say, some popular insiders out there really mostly looking for Twitter clout and actually have no real useful information, or if they ever did, they've kind of exhausted it and are just throwing out whatever the hell sounds good and to get clicks now, stroke their ego. But notably, ooh, yeah, they do a lot of damage in here. I'm just sticking with the safest route I know. Is there any cage? Here's another fall off point. Okay. As I was saying on Final Fantasy Origins, it's kind of set in Final Fantasy 1, but also not. We're going to have to wait till the full game comes out to get a real picture on exactly where all of these cryptic hints from Pthumeru are leading to. But while I really like a lot of the elements of the trailer that they first showed off, I still think I do understand 100% why that it has been memed to hell almost instantly. Oh, come on. That guy's got my echoes. I need them. There's like 400k in there. And that damn dog. Ugh. Ah, wrong button. But multiple times they really emphasize that Jack wants to kill Chaos. And I'm sure he will. How effective he'll be given the time loop stuff is a different question, but oh, dang it. Ran out of pebbles. Come on. Okay, that's restored. Sorry for all the silence. It's just, there's a lot going on in here. Like a lot. Oh, come on. There's Fat Roll. Come on. Let's not make the same mistake twice. Oh. He says as he gets flattened again. There we go. Yeesh. Jerk. Man, that's a lot of echoes. And now we've opened the boss door. Thank goodness. I dig the aesthetic. It's very... It reminds me a lot of Type 0. Final Fantasy Type 0. Which has kind of got like a sort of gritty thing going on with semi-realistic art style. Oh. Yeah, this room is hell. Very clearly hell. And back on Final Fantasy Origins and the memes, it did not help at all that they said the demo is available today. Go on and download it on your PS5. And it will be available until June 24th. And please fill out the survey and all that. But the demo they uploaded was corrupted. So, it didn't work. It didn't matter how many times you downloaded and re-downloaded it. The thing was broken. It would not start and play. I just want my echoes back. Hopefully I can get them back relatively easily. Oh, and they're in him. Great. The easiest way to him is to, I guess, go through the witches. So, not only did the game have a rather not great trailer in terms of setting tone as well as it had hoped, but then the demo comes out and it's frickin' broken. However, they fixed it within 2 days, and it is online, and it's pretty fantastic. I love the amount of depth and interesting places the combat can go, and I'm assuming will go. Especially with the full game. Alright, takes care of you. Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna kill this guy and this kind of bold hunter's mark out of here. And go take care of that boss. Oh. Yeah. That's like 700k. Also gonna refill my pebbles and stuff. There's a lot to go over with that demo, but I'm gonna save it for a later time. So, next, I'm not gonna spend wholly too long on it.
Welcome home. What is it you...
They also announced at Summer Games Fest
Very well.
the new, PS5 Death Stranding Director's Cut.
Farewell, good.
Those
May
who
you
were
find...
unaware, Death Stranding was Hideo Kojima's game, came out in 2019, in which let's see, pebbles. There we go. In which you play Sam Porter Bridges, portrayed by actor Norman Reedus, and you balance packages, you plan out your routes, you go from point A to point B, and you essentially are just being a postman, but mostly it's on foot, or if you have unlocked a vehicle, go ahead and use it that way and deliver your stuff that way, and the quality of your delivery will impact your rewards. Oh, God. Put the pebbles back on. Oh, great. There's side area. The director's cut kind of cheekily is all these huge references to Metal Gear. A box of oranges, which Sam puts on over his head, and in very reminiscent of Snake sneaking around in almost the exact same thing in the Metal Gear franchise. Then he sits in it, he flips it over and just sits in it like it's a little, like, boat or something weird like that. Then he puts it back on the shelf. Kind of like indicating, nah, I'm not gonna go quite that far with it. It's just and he's in an area surrounded by, like, armed guards that he's going to have to sneak through or something. And it doesn't show any particular action moments. It's all just this really tongue-in-cheek Metal Gear reference. Teasing new content in a PS5 version, which is something I've kind of wanted for a while since they've announced the features of the DualSense, because it can be really reactive with how you choose to use it, and Death Stranding is a game that has a lot to do with the terrain you're crossing over and how it affects it can damage your packages or you, depending on if you're not careful. Oh, jeez. Wait for the next one. And there's all sorts of like rough, rocky terrain, and all these different things that you're gonna force yourself to traverse over, using ladders to cross gaps, kind of like jerry-rigging ramps and stuff up for your vehicles, climbing up and down sheer rock faces, managing your stamina and your health, using your blood to fight back against like sort of eldritch entities. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. I think it can be very well enhanced by use of the DualSense. Anything else important down here? Not exactly sure which spot I came from. It's all very samey. Okay, yep, this is new. Being able to feel all the different indentations and sizes and shapes of rocks, feeling the weight pushing down on you with how heavy your cargo has become. You could use the haptics and the analog stick to make your pushing forward just a little bit harder, and just all sorts of different weather conditions that could be simulated by that. And it has a lot of really cool potential. Okay, so alright, I thought it was back at the beginning. Like the very beginning of this floor. I did hear axes overhead. Come on. Oh. Treasure that I'm probably gonna have no use for, but hey, I want to be thorough and explore for the sake of the video. More chalice materials. Alright. Guess wrapped up this area. Let's go recharge and head to the boss finally. It was a lot more significant than the first one in this dungeon. Like, a lot more. The first one's kinda just feels like filler, though also a little bit of tone setting. Because this is a specific Pthumerian place. Oh no. Almost got me. Ugh, great. Nope, can't pick any of that up still. Screw it. Mark. Save some time. So if they do that director's cut well, might as well spend these while I'm here. There's a lot that can be, really, a lot that they can do, and it has potential to feel amazing.
Well, Kabut. Very well. Let me. Farewell, good hun. May you.
Guess I'll just start throwing it on arcane now that I've hit 50 in skill and strength. So maybe I can actually demo some of those hunter tools. Second boss, Bloodletting Beast. However, this one is headless, because this is Lawrence. Or what became of him in the waking world. Oh god, can't see, can't see. Unlock. What was I doing? His body only still being animated by a maggot. The man and his mind have long since passed, but this shows that what is left of him was lost exploring these Chalice dungeons, which brought about this entire healing church. Oh, jeez. Hitbox. Ugh. Focus. Ooh. Oh well. Yeah, this is a tough dungeon. And he is a lot stronger than the original and that we fought in whatever the hell it was. So I'll take that. But he wasn't too bad. Thankfully, this beast cutter makes short work of him. I just need to pay better attention. Discuss him after what's left of him is dead. So his body here still exists in at least some form of the waking world. Oh. Got that. Range. That hitbox is ridiculous. I'm behind him and it's hitting me. Okay, focus. So, his head rests on the altar, obviously. Back in the waking world and at the church, the Grand Cathedral. And it really speaks to that even till his final moments in which he was becoming a beast and everything. He was still trying to explore, he was still trying to open his eyes on the inside, become more insightful, seeking the eldritch truth and the great ones. God, that slam is ridiculous. In terms of damage and that very poor hitbox. Camera's also not doing any favors. God. Almost got me. The third and final boss of this dungeon is the most important, and I don't think quite this bad. I don't remember it having these ridiculous hitboxes. A lot smaller, so. Can't move. Alright, phase 2. Let's make this the one. Careful. Come on. Do something I can exploit. Do the rain with all your blood clots. That would be the most ideal. Oh, that was a one-shot. This arena is not very large. This is probably where I'm going to be spending the most time in this particular dungeon. I remember it being rough the first time. And even at this crazy level that I am, 144, this thing is still ridiculous. Using the most powerful beast weapon, anti-beast weapon in this game that I can muster. Alright. Phase 2. Here we go. God. I hate this thing. It's almost as bad as the Lore and Dark Beast. That's it. Scaled at New Game Plus 8. stamina. Alright. Almost. Got it. Yeesh. Root Chalice and Heavy Damp Blood Gem. Okay, there's the way forward. Woof. Go up the stairs to go down the elevator. I think I'm just gonna go straight for the boss. This video's going on long enough. Skip any more of the side areas. Like I said, there's not a ton of topics.
Well, what is... Very well, let me stand close. Farewell, good ma-
I know I can visceral attack the next boss, so I'll have a lot better, a lot easier shot at that. The next topic I had was Metroid Dread, finally announced for Nintendo Switch, being developed by Mercury Steam, who also did Samus Returns on the 3DS, remake of that from the Game Boy. I still need to play that one, but everything I've seen of it looks absolutely fantastic, and Metroid Dread looks to be continuing that. Dread looks great, and I'm excited. I kind of wish they would have put that Samus Returns on the Switch. Oh. Ah. Man. This hunter's serious. And I'm sure he probably respawns too. Oh, jeez. Look how cool these guys look. Now if I could just hit one with a pebble. Thank goodness. Yeesh. Come on. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm starting to lose my touch this session. This is probably the most I've died on camera. Like in the entire Let's Play. Prospector Oleg. Okay, there's the NPC guy over there. Yep, and he does respawn. Ugh. Madman Waller. Okay, let's see if I can sneak up on him. There we go. Oh, and that still wasn't it. Oh well. Don't care about that wandering madness at all. That's a great opportunity there. Oop. You see that the actual eyes of the scorpion were on its side. And those up there are false. So it looks like a skull. But right there, right in the middle of the crosshair, that's where the actual eyes are. It's so hard to notice. Well, as long as I get their attention somehow. Come on. So on Metroid Dread, it's a 2D side-scrolling classic Metroid style, much like Samus Returns was. This game was like teased all the way back with... Oh, crap. some sort of data entry in Metroid Prime 3 on the Wii forever ago. And there was a interview with Sakamoto, I think, after the release of the trailer and everything, talking about how the game was actually canceled internally twice in all the long years since that teaser. And rebooted multiple times and never got off the ground until now, with them hiring Mercury Steam to take care of it. That's pretty cool, and also it's a sequel to Metroid Fusion, which puts this at the furthest point in the timeline since that game came out, because Metroid Fusion is until Dread came out, is coming out now, has always been the last chronological Metroid. The other games like Metroid Prime 1, 2, and 3 have all taken place after Super Metroid, but Fusion was still set after them. Oh, great. Anything that's come out since then has not taken place after that. Super Metroid is when the last Metroid alive was, wait, did I get everything up here? Okay, yep. Boss door open. Is which the last Metroid in captivity died and officially declared the species extinct. I won't go into spoilers for anyone who still wants to play that. It's probably on Nintendo Switch Online, though it'd be nice if there's just like a nice physical cartridge with a whole bunch of these old Metroid games put together. Like, I'd say put Zero Mission, Fusion, Super Metroid, all of them. Just put them all on the Switch. That'd be fantastic. And hell, I'd probably even consider a Let's Play of Super Metroid that way, because that game's great. I still have my Super Nintendo cartridge and everything.
Welcome home. What is it? Very well, let me...
Oop.
Farewell, good. May you...
Switch this out. Much like the headless bloodletting beast, this will be the second time I've ever gone through and killed this boss. Stating it again. As many times as I've played through this game, I've only done all this challenge dungeon stuff once in my initial playthrough. Queen Killer. Hopefully I won't need you. So, this final, ostensibly final Chalice dungeon boss Yarnum, Pthumerian Queen. Now, there's a gimmick to this fight. Do not attack her while the baby is crying. Or else a spell will be casted. Oh crap. And you will be held still for a few seconds by it. So try for like 2 attacks and then run. If you cause it to cry too much, you will be held in place. Ooh. And in her second phase, she brings out the melee weapon. Crap. Nope, crap. Oh, okay. I guess I did too much damage there. You'll remember her from initially in the Moonlit Lake in which we fought Rom. And then again in Murgo's Loft. Saying to me that in whatever current state you want to say she's in, she can only exist in these weird dreamlike areas. I imagine much like prisoners of the Hunter's Nightmare, she is trapped in some way. Okay, I gotta watch the range on that. Oh. Oh, crud. Almost had her. Okay, I can't be too close to her when it's crying that much. It's an interesting, smart gimmick. Especially given the whole war implications and everything. Okay. Ooh. Come on. Ugh. Where'd she go? Okay. Summoning clones. Okay. Ugh. Alright, she's not terribly difficult, just gotta be careful. Play it smart. Alright, clones again. Oh no. Well, I found the real one quickly. Ugh. Come on. Projectiles can pretty much interrupt everything she does. Oh, come on. And she can take some damage from poison. Not a lot, but it's enough to help. Alright, come on. Let's try for a visceral. Ugh. You can tell the real one at this phase by which one has a blood-covered sword. Also, the clones only shoot one blood arrow thing. No! Well, she shoots multiple. Well, that went better. I'll go grab more poison knives so I have that full, at least. Where are you? Oh. There you go. Looking in the wrong one. Now, she is the one for which the city of Yarnum is named. And, there's elements of her lore that I'll be speaking about more in depth in the finale, the next episode. But, she, she had something taken from her. And it's pretty obvious at this point what that might be. At least I do decent damage to her. What? That was weird. I should have hit her. Almost had visceral. What? Caught. So far, so good. Okay, that's the real one. You still have to kill the clones even after you hit her once. Normally in games like this, it's like hit the real one and then the clones disappear. Because they can't maintain the illusion or something like that. There we go. Visceral, finally. See how much damage that does? Clone. Yep. Real. More clones. Oh. Oh no. Get me down. So that's what that does, if you don't interrupt it. No! Come on! I gotta interrupt it. It's no point in running. Oh no. Okay, thank goodness. Ugh. If I could get another visceral, I would just clean this up. Oh, and I'm out. Great. Yep. She's tough. And again, someone I barely have any experience with. Forget the poison. It's not helping enough. Oh no. Got lucky. Ugh. There we go. Alright. This is going much better. Okay, there's the real one. All three. Oh no. Okay. Whew. At least she teleported. That was lucky. As long as I don't get greedy, I'll survive. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh. Alright. There she is. Oh. I keep thinking she's gonna do her charge move and I can visceral that, but she keeps doing that instead. Almost dead. Just one more hit. There we go. Prey slaughtered. Yarnum stone and bloodstone chunk. Let's take a look at that item. I believe it's a key item. Sacred Heirloom of Yarnum, Pthumerian Queen. Yarnum Stone. The sacred heirloom left by Yarnum, the Pthumerian Queen. The Queen lies dead, but her horrific consciousness is only asleep and stirs in unsettling motions. And it's a little hard to make out in there, but you can tell there's like some sort of weird fetus shape within it. Now, that item does absolutely nothing. There's no benefit to owning it other than serve as a little trophy that you made it through all of this. So in the end, she wasn't that difficult. I just was making some very poor mistakes on my end.
Welcome. What is it?
Let's level up.
Very well.
Okay, need to pop some echoes.
Farewell, good. Welcome. What? Very well. Let. Farewell, good. May.
So, thank you all for joining me on this one. Had it was a bit of a rough go on layers 2 and 3, but I'm glad to have finally taken care of them and done it, especially since this is the second time I've ever killed those bosses, and I'm definitely better experienced for it. And and next time the next episode of this LP will be the last one, and I'm looking forward to finally finishing this up, taking care of a few more bosses in that last episode. And of course, we're going to be starting off with the last one of the DLC. And once again, thank you all for joining me. And I will see you next time. Bye!